Okay, so in this module, what we are going to cover is how to take that broad basic theory of mind that we learned in Core Foundations, but which I also have available for all viewers on the website. If you need to review it, take a look at it. How do we adapt that to what we are dealing with in this course, which is infancy and autonomy, and the different ways that we're learning? That's what I'm going to show you, is how to adapt the theory of mind to re-explain it to your client in light of a particular issue. And this is something that is very helpful for you to learn as a skill by watching some of these examples, because there's the first theory of mind that explains the way the mind learns on a broader sense and how the subconscious mind operates, what our two fears are, etc., what our fight or flight mechanisms are. But occasionally you have to re-explain to the client the theory of mind in light of their particular issue. And it serves two purposes. Number one, it personalizes what you are educating them about in light of their particular concerns. But number two, it serves to repeat. It's that repetition of a model of the mind that they will probably learn something new from the second time that you present it, because we've probably all been there where we've seen the same presentation at a later date only to realize that we picked up something different the second time that we watched it. And that's very similar to what happens to our clients, and different levels of awareness open up that are very valuable for them. So we're going to take the theory of mind, but we're going to explain it in light of, in this example, we'll use infancy trauma. We're going to say that our client has shared with us that they were passed around from caregiver to caregiver for about 6 months during their infancy when their mother died, and that they have never felt a deep or safe sense of trust in their life ever. So we're going to explain the theory of mind to them in a way that makes them understand that that was a part of their learning process, but we're going to start teaching them something else about trust. So where we're going to start is speak directly to our client and say, remember, we had discussed the theory of mind, and that when we are born, our mind is for the most part like a blank slate. Not entirely blank. We have gestational memories and we have genetic memories, etc. But in terms of events in this lifetime, we don't have any information yet in our subconscious belief system. We are, of course, born with a fight or flight mechanism. It's a part of our survival instinct, and the two fears that we're born with, a fear of falling and a fear of loud noises, another factor that can layer a type of stress onto an infancy period if they grew up in a clamorous environment. But let's remember that a baby learns differently, because between the ages of 0 and 8, we're forming that critical barrier. But when we're infants, or when we're in early childhood, we don't have this critical barrier to protect us. So all the information that we are taking in on that level that an infant learns, which is usually by identification. We identify mom, we identify dad, perhaps. We identify that certain things are good and certain things are bad, and then we associate them. We learn that way as infants. We're also learning by the rhythms that we're exposed to. If we're exposed to uneven rhythms and a clamorous environment, we get this instinctual fear of loud noises repeatedly triggering in a way that causes us to stay hypervigilant on a very, very deep, profound subconscious level. But since we don't have this critical barrier to protect us, everything that the infant is learning, such as the world is not safe, and I don't know who my primary caregiver is going to be because it keeps changing. Because mom died, that was a trauma. This trauma died and the world is not safe. So we've got a double negative here that is in the subconscious belief system as a potential stressor. So what we have to do is go back in and retrain your subconscious mind with new information and instill it in a way that changes some of these negative beliefs that are operating, such as the world is unsafe and that the world is irregular, to positives, that the world is safe, that the world is regular, and that you can find somebody that won't get taken away from you, right? If you have a belief that the people that you love the most are going to get taken away from you, guess what? That can become a self-fulfilling prophecy until we go back in and change it and really nurture the subconscious mind along, letting it know that, for example, that was a one-time event for us to relearn trust, perhaps an opportunity to really go in and learn trust on a valuable new level. But as you will recall, one of the ways that we learn is through repetition. So it's really best with this very delicate and sensitive work to repeat it in 1-week increments in, say, a series of 6 sessions, to where we can really guide the outcome and observe the different layers and observe the different areas of life that this begins affecting for you, so that we can make sure it's headed in the right directions, because we're not interested in blind trust. We're interested in a wise, earned trust that creates a safe world, that establishes safer relationships with people who don't disappear, and that the world is regular, and that we can count on that. So this is at least 88% of our total mind power, and we've got to go back in and instill that information on the same kinesthetic level that it was supposed to have been instilled on. And we're going to use the biofeedback to help support that by using very carefully chosen signatures. We're going to take your signature of earned trust, we're going to load it onto the matrix and try to entrain your subconscious mind to that pattern, so that it recognizes that pattern, that it's comfortable with that pattern and can recreate that pattern. But we have to teach it to it. And again, we need to use that very careful process of repetition in a guided way.